Hello, everybody, and welcome to Choice, Change, and Action podcast. So, you're with me, your host, Simone Milasas. I'm still in Bucharest, Romania at the moment, about to start a body class. And next week, I'm going to be in Istanbul, Turkey for a Business Done Different class. Yay! And the crowd goes wild. So, you can come to Istanbul and join that class, or you can jump online as well. I would love to have you there. So I wanted to do this little introduction to introduce Gary Douglas, the founder of Access Consciousness. Oh my goodness, I'm so friggin' grateful for that man. It's like I've been working with him for 25 years. I consider him one of my very best friends. And we had a conversation in this podcast about business. One of my favorite topics, hopefully one of your favorite topics. The name of the podcast is Practical Magic in Business. And I love the way he talks about business, and it doesn't have to be hard. There's such a simplicity in business if you're willing to have it be like that. So please enjoy, subscribe, do all of that sort of thing. Come to a Business Done Different class. Check out all the Joy Business facilitators. There's many of them all over the world. You can find them at accessjoyofbusiness.com and on the accessconsciousness.com website. If you have an idea, if you have a business, if you're working with somebody else, if you'd like to create more revenue streams, like what if you could have way more revenue streams than you think you can? What if? What if the action you take today allows something different to show up for your future? So please come dive deep and join us for a Business Done Different class and enjoy this podcast with Mr. Gary Douglas. Thank you. Oh my goodness. So we have the amazing, phenomenal creature of magnitude that is just, you are such a brilliant gift, Gary Douglas. Welcome, Gary Douglas, the founder of Access Consciousness and so much more.
Thank you. It's nice to be here with you, Miss Simone.
You're at home in Houston and I'm here in Romania, in Bucharest.
You're at home in Romania.
I'm at home in Romania in my hotel room. You are correct. Okay, so today I wanted to ask you some questions about business. And
Okay.
one of the first things is I'm going to put a shout out to the Access.me app. Dane and I did a podcast that was out a couple of weeks ago. We'll have that in the subscription notes. And the first class that I ever traveled to with Access was San Francisco. And we literally you called it the business class. I love the way we used to just name classes, like call it what it is, It was called the business class. And I was talking to someone today and they just listened to it. And I went, "Did you hear me?" And they went, "Oh yeah, we heard you." Because I was like in the front row looking at you the whole time, just going, "But Gary, Gary, Gary," like asking a billion questions, sitting on the edge of my seat, just so, so grateful. And you gave me a few tools. There was one tool in particular that just changed the trajectory of how I did business. And that tool was, you said basically you were calling us out, like how many are control freaks, and that, do you think anyone can do the business better than you? And I was like, no, they can't. And you said to me, well, who are you hiring then? And I remember going, holy shit, I'm hiring people who are not as good as me.
Yeah.
So I have to be the person who
Everything.
does it. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
And that's what most people do. They always look to hire somebody who's less than they are rather than somebody who's more than they are. I am not that way. I always hire people that are more than I am in different areas.
I see that all the time. So I want to ask you too, with business, it's like, when did business become something for you that you went, yeah, I'm good at this, I'm acknowledging this, or I'd like to be involved in this, etc.? Like, what
About
do you
2
remember?
years ago.
2 years ago. Come on.
No, it's like literally I got that I was good at this about 2 years ago.
Oh, okay.
I
Okay.
got that
All
I
right.
was good at this, okay? Because I didn't get that I was good at it. I just did what I knew was practical. See, for me, it's like there was a movie called Practical Magic
Mm-hmm.
with Kidman and Bullock,
Yep.
and it's like I loved it. I thought that's my idea of being practically magic about everything. And you should be practical in your magic about your business and not try to look to your business to be the magic of you.
Ooh, can you expand a little bit more on that, especially that first part? Because that's a piece I think people aren't willing to
Well,
get.
it's like business works in magical ways if you're doing it from a request and a question, but it doesn't if you do it from a conclusion or a decision. So the practical magic is question. Practical magic is, what's the question I need to change this? What can I do different? And for me, it's like everybody said, you have to have a place where you have everybody work so they have their little cubicle. I go, no. I went, yes or no? No. Okay, no, they don't have to. And so I started hiring people all over the fucking world to
Yeah.
do processing, do things for me. And it's like, and it worked beautifully. And we started making money, and we made lots of money, and did really well. But one of the things I learned long ago is don't give things away free. Because when you give something away for free or for no money, what they do is they discount what you have given, and they don't see it as valuable and never will.
Hmm.
So
Okay.
always be willing to charge money. No matter what you do, charge money for something.
Well, and it's interesting because I get that, and I do see people try so much to give away what they've created, whether it's a service or a product, etc. I mean, I remember I did that right at the beginning. People would tell me how much they loved my business, Good Vibes for You, and I'd just want to give it away to them or give them two for the price of one or something like that. Try and discount it. What do you get that people try and discount it for?
They discount it because they think more people will receive it. But more people don't receive by you giving things away. More people receive by you charging for things.
So then, how is that related to the receiving of money?
Well, the thing is, receiving, whether it's money or anything else, or sex, or friendship, or whatever, receiving is a flow of energy in a particular direction that is towards you, for you, with you, and as a gift to you. So money is a gift that we can get and we can have, but we got to be willing to receive it. Recently, I got back to going to all of life comes to me with ease and joy and glory all the time because I realized I had made it pain, suffering, and gory. And so I was trying to do everything from a more painful place, not an easier place. And it's not fun. I just had a baby colt that died. And it's like we thought the coyotes had gotten it,
Mm.
but he wasn't eaten on, which is weird. So it's like, okay, so did he die of his own volition? Yes. But he wasn't eating well. He wasn't doing well from the very beginning. Now, in the future, I will have everybody work on them and do their, rev up their bodies.
So he was choosing not to live.
Yeah.
So,
Which is
okay,
sad because he was beautiful.
yeah. Well, every I love horses now. You've taught me that. You
I'm sorry.
re-engaged me. I mean, I grew up with horses as a kid, and then through various things, I just forgot about it or thought I wasn't interested until I met you. And
Yes.
then I have definitely refound my interest now in that. Um, so thank you for that. The
You're welcome.
business of horses, that costs a hell of a lot of money as well.
Yeah.
But
It's
wow,
not a
can you
cheap
receive?
hobby.
No, it's not.
Yeah.
It's not.
But it's like one of the things that was interesting with the Access Me app,
Mm,
which is a place that you could go for $4,000 a year. You could buy 16 years of classes.
mm. It's less than 4,000, actually.
Yeah, I
It's
know, but I just rounded up
yeah. It's
because
incredible. It's absolutely incredible. Like I said, that business class that I've listened to it again, and it's I've gained so much. Two things. I gained the awareness of how much I've changed, and
now,
my whole frequency and vibration is completely different. And I heard the tools again, and it's sort of like you're saying with the mantra, all of life comes to me with ease, joy, and glory. they had this, like, they sort of went in deeper, the tools that I heard again that I'd been
Yeah.
using, because I think we become very complacent with some of the tools and be like, "Oh, yeah," rather
More,
than
more dismissive than complacent.
more dismissive.
Yes, because once we have something and we think, oh, I've got this,
Mm,
that is the end of creation. I've got this is the end of creation. And people don't realize that. I'm getting this is always a constant state of creation. And you've got to live from the creation of possibility and the creation of business, not from I've got this. Like when COVID hit,
mhm.
we within 3 weeks had converted to online. Why?
Yeah.
Because that was obvious. You had no
Choice.
choice.
Well, choice, we were
Yeah.
prepared for it. We knew we had to pivot, and we pivoted, and we handled it so well and with so much ease. So,
Yeah.
okay, let's look at that with business too. It's like, I wanna talk about too, like, how important do you see it to be like, to be like, to be true to you, to be who you are in
Fuck
business?
you.
Fuck you. Tell me more.
Yeah.
What do you
You
mean?
got to look at this as and it's like, where am I saying fuck you to myself?
Tell
See,
me, what do you mean?
when you look to somebody else to have the right answer for you, you're doing a fuck you to yourself.
So then it's like who asking who you be in business, like what actually
Yeah.
works for you, not looking at everything
What's
and everyone
pragmatic?
else's
What's a
preference.
pragmatic solution to this? Not how can I fix this?
Yeah.
Because I fix it is the point of idea that something is broken. It's never
Mhm.
broken. It's just not working as well as it could. How can I change this? Which is how I ended up doing the Access Me app, is because I went, you know what? I have 32 years of saving all these classes and
Yeah.
nobody gets to hear them, you know, and
Yeah.
the only person who really knows them is me.
Yeah. Well, that's true. It's so true. And do you know, I actually was talking to someone the other day and I said, "You do realize I've listened to every single one of those classes?" Like, the only classes that I haven't listened to in the past, like, 3 years is I've listened to every single one of yours, maybe a few of Dane's on, like, a day 3 SOP or something, because 'cause we've just got so many things on. I call it being popular. But I've listened to all of those classes, and listening to them again and again and again is just such a gift. So, like I said, we will have in the subscription notes the details to download the app for Access Me. I highly recommend it. Absolutely brilliant.
I recommend you don't do it so that you
Okay.
can maintain the stupidity of your life.
Ah, I was listening to something, an older class the other day, and you were talking about how people would rather choose their limitations so that they can validate their limited reality than therefore making their limitations more
Yeah,
like real and true to them.
real and
What
true. Yeah.
yeah. What else is possible for someone to choose? Like, what would you like to invite people to choose in
Well, I
business?
mean, with the app and with Access, what I've always been inviting people to do is to choose a reality beyond this reality. Choose a place in which they can create with a level of intensity that other people can't. What if your level of intensity, and it's like most of you are far more intense than you want to pretend you aren't. Okay. You want to pretend you're not very intense. Oh, I'm just a mild mannered reporter from a great metropolitan newspaper. I am not Superman in disguise. But you are. Most of you are Superman and Supergirl and Superwoman and super possibility in
Hmm,
disguise. And you keep trying to be a
hmm.
mild mannered reporter. You know, I
Okay.
just observe and I don't get involved.
So I would like to, because I know I'm intense, right? And
Just a tad.
yeah, I would say over the years, that hasn't been something that's been embraced. It's been something that's been judged by others.
Yes, but you
So,
think judgment is real. I
yeah, I
don't.
know. Yeah, that's what I was going to say. It's like, I mean, now it's like, gosh, it's changed so much. I mean, do I still function from that? Probably, but not nearly as much as what I used to.
Yeah.
It's like, it's changed so much. It's like, so people embrace their intensity.
Well, most people don't embrace their intensity. They try to hide it. from themselves and everybody else.
So what would you suggest to people to start embracing their intensity or embracing the brilliance of them in business?
How crazy can I be?
How crazy can I be? I
Yeah.
love that.
How crazy can I be? Because people always say, you're crazy for doing that. Okay,
Mm.
good. I'm crazy for doing that. That's crazy for you to start El Lugar. Okay, I don't think so. I think it's been brilliant and fabulous and amazing, and it's changing the world like everything else I try to do.
No, everything else that you do, Gary, changes the world. Not try.
Okay, well, I try. So
Because I know that you've had a lot of businesses like over the years and growing up,
yes,
like including antiques, real estate is two that I know about. Obviously, access consciousness. You say that you only acknowledged 2 years ago that you were good in business. I think that's not true. I think you're not good in business. I think you're phenomenal in business and you're a freak of nature,
well, I
as I
guess
like to
2
call
years
you.
ago, I finally got that I'm phenomenal.
Okay,
Okay.
good. And so prior to that, can you talk like, because one of the things I've noticed is
Well, my basic point of view has always been, how can I make this work?
Mm,
What would I have to do or be in order to create this difference?
okay.
Yeah.
So, because one of the things I've seen you do is finding the things that you love doing and turning it into a revenue stream,
Yes.
like, and building
Because
that.
everything that you like and everything you like to eat and everyone you like to eat can be a revenue stream.
So what's the capacity required in order to have that, choose that, receive that?
The question, how can I use this as a revenue stream?
That simple. Yeah.
Yeah, it's that simple. It's really simple. And it's like doing business is a simple thing. How can I turn this into a revenue stream and how can I increase the revenue stream? Period.
I love that. That's brilliant because so many people don't look at business as a simple thing. They try and create it to be the most fucking complicated thing on earth, and it's
Yes.
not.
Well, yeah, it's like, but the thing is, you got the accountants who always try to, create it as complicated. Yes, you're right. It's very complicated. Now, tell me what I can do to change that. What? Tell me what I can do to avoid the taxes, not what I can do to pay the taxes.
Be creative with taxes is what my Papa Bear taught me. Create.
Mm-hmm.
Just another word for avoid, but let's use creative. I like it.
Creative is the nice version of avoidance.
Yes, exactly. It's the one that accountants are happy with.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's like I used to, when I was young, I'd go out and I'd sleep with different people all over town. I had a
Mhm.
very unique car. I had a 57 Thunderbird, so it was kind of known around town.
Mhm.
But nobody ever noticed when I parked it in a different place.
Okay. My uncle wrote this saying to me once when I was little. He said, "Don't make love at the garden gate. Love is blind, but the neighbors ain't."
Yeah.
Do you think that they were noticing? They just
Nope,
didn't
they
tell
weren't. No,
they didn't
they
notice.
weren't because I would make the car invisible,
Infinite. Huh.
infinite. Okay. I would make it infinite and therefore it was invisible. And it's like, and that was my point of view. You can always make anything invisible if you want to. Make it infinite, nobody will notice it. What are you not making infinite that people always notice?
What are you not making infinite that people always notice? That's a good question.
Yeah. See, and I make me infinite so that people don't notice me. Therefore, they don't identify the business as me and come to me at all times. At one point, I
You talk
wasn't doing that, and people would call me at 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning. I am having this terrible problem. Can you wait till the morning? No, I have to handle this now. I go, why? Well, because I need to. No, you don't. It'll wait till morning. I'm asleep. Goodbye. And I would
yeah,
hang up.
You taught me that too, that being, and I've gone through that of being the source point, and it's like now I would give so many people just the green light is what I call it. It's like green light, go, create, choose. But I think that's
Mhm.
also like willing to create, like ask for people and create with people who will create with consciousness and greater possibilities is what I look at.
You just said one of the greatest things to know. Do you know what that is?
To create with consciousness, create with greater
Create
possibilities,
with people.
create with people.
Okay,
Okay.
you create with people. You don't have people work for you. If you have people work for you, you have to work more. If you have people who create with you, different possibilities show up.
Yeah. And then you get what I notice is their enthusiasm is that, like you were saying before, that practical magic in business. It's like the level of enthusiasm in people's realities when they're just like, wow. And it's like that magic shows up, those
Yeah.
miracles show up, and then the possibilities show up from there. Not complicated. Ease, joy, and
No.
glory. Oh yeah.
Yeah. That.
All of
Yeah.
life comes to us with ease, joy, and glory, including our businesses.
Yes. And one of the things I always did is I looked at people, I would go, okay, I have these things that I can do and I would rather not have to do.
Mm-hmm.
What would it be like if I didn't have to do these? And what if I could get somebody to do them for me? And so I started looking at the people who could do things for me that I wouldn't have to be involved in. And I would take and I would create a list of 5 to 7 things. I'd say, which of these can you do with these? And they'd go, oh, I can do this, this, and this with these. Good, then you're hired to do that. And the thing is, if they chose what they could do with these, then they would always add to their job until they were overworked. And then you could pay them more. And then they'd still do more.
Yep, that is a very true humanoid trait, for sure.
Yes. So it's like if you're hiring somebody, hire a humanoid for a humanoid job. Like I have someone that I hired who goes to stores to find material for me and stuff in LA, because there's a district in LA where they have materials that come in from all over the world, and it's much cheaper than any place else. LA, much cheaper. Bizarre. Who knew? I did. But I found out for myself. And so it's like I can buy mohair there for $100 a yard, where anyplace else it's $400 a yard. So I send him down to find the colors I need, and he goes and finds them. He's a human, but he's wonderful at doing those kind of simple tasks.
Okay, so I know I've worked with you for quite a while, and I see this in so many various situations. Can you talk about the level of receiving for not just the mohair, but for the people showing up, for the possibilities, for all of that?
I
Like,
just
what is
asked
that?
for them. What would it take to find somebody who could do this for me?
Right.
I asked for people to show up, and somebody would come like, I want to work for you. Okay. What do you want to do? Well, I want to do this, this, and this. Okay. I mean, I had a lady who came to me and said, I want to work for you, and I can do what Dane does. What's that? Stand at the back of the room and wave my hands. I said, he's doing a little bit more than waving his hands.
But
She
that was her
thought
perspective.
that was her perspective of it. But you got to
Right.
see what somebody's perspective of it is and not judge it, but look at it and go, okay, is this really what's going on? And is this all they're able to perceive? If this is all she's able to perceive, she's not a person who can work for me.
Oh, I
Or with
love that. That was gold. That was
Yes, I
gold.
know.
Yes, because wow, okay. Yeah. Because you're not making anything right or wrong. You're taking the information and going, that, all right.
How can I use that? Can I use that? What is this? What do I do with it? Can I change it? And if so, how do I change it? And those 4 questions answer pretty much my entire life and run my business.
Yeah. Oh, and you've got so many great questions too. in business that you've taught me too. Like even one of my favorites is even saying in your head truth, because it's a universal law. It's like, what's the one thing that I haven't asked you or that I need to know about you that I haven't asked you that you haven't told me. And
Mhm.
every time I've done that, it's so interesting to see what people, they'll always tell you what they don't want to tell you, but they find
Mhm.
themselves just talking about it. Like, oh, I'm always late. I'm never punctual, or I'm this or I'm that, whatever. And it's like, okay, you've got the information.
Mhm.
Brilliant.
Does it mean you don't hire because they're not punctual?
No, not necessarily. Depends what the job
Do
is.
I care about the punctuality or do I care about a job done?
Care about a job done.
Yeah.
And it
Punctuality
depends.
is for
Yeah.
particular kinds of people, and those kind of people, I never send those kind of people to.
Yeah. Yeah. So, how important do you think it is to change and pivot in a business? And when do you acknowledge or recognize that it's time to pivot and change?
The moment you see that something isn't working. It's like at one point we were doing a certified facilitators class for the people who were doing foundations and level ones.
Mm-hmm.
And they also had bars that they could do. And it's like they said, well, I just don't want to have to do the bars. I said,
Mm.
oh, okay, fine. And after 3 people saying it, I went, okay, this is not something they want to do. So I took it away from them. I made it so that anybody could teach bars, and they could teach bars and become a bars facilitator, and they had to learn from 3 different people and blah, blah, blah. And instantaneously,
Yeah.
the facilitators who would not do bars suddenly were interested in doing bars.
And what I love about that is because that's quite a few years ago now. And I remember at lunch, like this, you just went boom, boom, boom. Like you don't go, we need to call a meeting, we need to do this, we need to extrapolate. You just go, dunk, this is it. Because you knew a change was required.
Yeah.
This is the
And
change. And
this is
and
the change that will make it. Yeah.
yeah. And you've added to that change over the years, like, oh, we need to add this or change this or whatever. It's like, but essentially the pivot was we now have bars facilitators and we have,
Yeah.
those bars facilitators all over the world. And if you look at another business that we have now is Bars in Business, which I will also put the details in the show notes here too. Because if you know how to run bars, you don't have to be a bars facilitator, you could just be a practitioner. We have this brilliant website that a few people, David Kubis is one of them that set this up, with all these different, businesses, corporations that you can find someone around the world and you can be registered on there to be doing bars. That never would have occurred, or it could have occurred, but it would have taken 100 years if you didn't pivot at that very moment and create so much friggin' chaos
Yeah.
in access and allow bars facilitators to show up.
Yeah. And it's like, and I tried to get people to go out and offer to run bars for people to give them an indication of how it would work for them with people who are under high stress. And nobody
Yeah.
would do it. One guy went out and did it. He
It's
ended
getting
up
there
with
now.
one client.
Yeah.
Now it's happening.
Yeah.
You know,
It is, it's
I
happening,
realized,
and not
okay.
and more. Like, I would love to put a shout out there to, I would love to get bars into with, athletes, sports people,
Mm-hmm.
because 'cause I've watched a few documentaries recently and seeing, like, say one of them's on tennis players, and brilliant tennis players, like, absolutely brilliant, coach good, da, 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 and the one thing that they falter on is their
Mm-hmm.
mental stuff, and I'm like, "Dude, if you got your bars run before a match, after a match, like,
Yeah.
all of it, all that stuff that you're making relevant would no longer be relevant. You'd be able to actually increase your skill as a tennis player or as an athlete. So
Yeah.
if anyone knows of anyone, please contact me, because I would love to get that out there in a much, 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 much bigger way. Okay, couple more questions I want to ask you too, Gary, is how would you describe a statesman in business?
A statesman is one who doesn't have to have the answers, but is willing to ask the question that will lead to a possibility. But
Love
that's
it.
the same in politics too, but we don't have many of those.
No. What would it take to have that? So I
Well,
guess
pretty
it's
much we
like,
don't have any of them, but
no, no,
I used
we
to
don't.
think we did, but we don't.
No, we don't. we don't. I know every time there's a politician around the world that I have this inkling, I go, ooh, maybe they're more of a statesman. They go around and do something and choose something, and I go, oh, apparently not. So,
Clearly not.
no, apparently not.
Because they're
So,
doing it for a purpose, not for a possibility.
yeah.
When you do things for a purpose, you're not doing the possibility, you're not creating a different reality that could have greater possibility.
Huh. Wow. Okay. So then if people are asking with their business, am I choosing this for purpose or possibility?
Yeah.
And how many people
What would be
choose?
possible if I chose this? What would be possible if I chose this? And you can
Yeah.
sense the difference between the energy of if I
Yeah.
choose this, this is a possibility. If I choose this, a different set of
Huh.
possibilities show up.
Yeah. I
Every
love that.
choice creates something,
Yeah.
but you begin to see which choices create the greater possibility, more
Huh.
possibilities, more realities, more generous creations.
Oh, Gary, I love that because it's like I mean, I'm currently on this 3-month tour in Europe, and it was something I chose, and there was all these different places, like various classes, various places, etc. And like the classes are all showing up really different, as in, I don't know, the amount of people or the site, all that sort of thing. And I'm like, I committed to going. I'm doing like there's something about it that had this sense of there was a,
Okay.
a greater purpose.
Can
Yeah,
I
you're
ask
gonna ask
you a
something.
question?
Yeah, please.
Have you changed because of it?
Yes.
Is that creating a different future for you because of that change?
Wow. Yeah, it's creating a different future for me. I also just got the world.
Yes, exactly. And the thing
Yeah.
is, you got to see when it's like the thing is, everybody does the bottom line thing. It's like, I didn't
Mm.
make enough money. I didn't pay for this. I didn't pay for this. I didn't pay for this. But it's like, those are not the relevant aspects of creating your future. And most people don't want to know how to create their future. They want to know how to create their money.
So can I ask you a question about that too? Because there's also what I've just before we started this podcast, like about 2 hours ago, I was talking to a few people who are involved in some of the upcoming classes, and I was like, "Hey, let's look at because we've got this many people registered so far. Is there like we've changed 2 venues to a smaller room?" And I'm like, I feel like I'm the devil's advocate of going, "Hey, let's change this." But everyone's like, "Let's get the biggest of this and all of this." And I'm like, "Can we look at what actually is being created and work with that now?" Like, I do look at the money as well. Like, I look at
You're
why
not
we
a devil's advocate. Stop
okay,
that point of view.
tell me.
It's like, you're not the devil's advocate. You're a pragmatist. You're looking at what's really going on, not the vision of what they'd like to have go on.
Okay.
Most
How
most
many
people live from their vision, not
ah,
from the truth.
thank you.
And I'm
Thank
a
you.
pragmatist, and I live from the truth.
Huh. Okay, thank you.
With the
Very
castle
few
people
people
were with the castle people were saying, well, maybe we could have 200 people. I said, no, you couldn't have 200 people. 100 people would be the maximum number you could have here.
yeah,
Don't even try to go there.
yeah.
They go, but I go, take your head
Wow.
and stick it up your butt, you asshole.
Yeah. Like, I'm like, let's have the problem of we need to find a bigger venue rather than doing a class where you're taking up like an eighth of the venue. So
Yeah.
tell me about people would prefer like to be to be hang on a second, because it's not a visionary. It's they would prefer to function from the what the visions that they have of what they perceive is a future, but it doesn't actually they're not taking the action to have that exist. Like, how does that work?
Well, it's like they aren't looking at what the future is and saying,
Mm,
okay, what will this create? You know,
right.
it's like you are looking at what it's creating and you realize, okay, this is what it's creating. Now we might get more than that, a little more than that, but we're not going to get triple that.
No.
You're going, if we dream of triple, we'll get triple. No, you won't.
Ah, yes. Yeah. Oh, thank you, Gary. It's like, so I would say there's a level that I go to that I'm like, am I limiting something? Am I going insane here? Like we just
Yes,
changed
you are,
which
but
one? Insane.
insane. You're going insane because you're trying to see the practical that doesn't exist.
So I'm being pragmatic, but trying to see the practical that doesn't exist.
Yes.
Tell me more.
Well, you might want to watch that movie Practical Magic a
Practical
few
magic.
dozen times
Okay.
because it might give you some insights into how you are practical and you are not illusionary.
And not illusionary.
Yeah. You
Ooh.
think you must be having an illusion if you don't see the vision they're seeing.
Oh. Wow. That's trying to be like the same as everybody else rather than
Yes.
acknowledge the difference I am.
Yes.
Is that what did you really acknowledge the difference you are a couple of years ago then when you
No, the difference I saw 20 years ago.
Mhm.
Yeah, I saw that because I ran, you know, what have you chosen to create yourself as? Normal, average, real, and the same as everybody else.
Right.
But I realized I am not the same as anybody else. I am different. I am
Yeah.
just not part of the norm. Now I wear an average size clothing, an average size hat.
Doesn't mean you're average.
Yeah, I'm definitely not average. And it's like I tried to make myself into an average person because I thought that was the target
Hmm. Wow. Yeah, I
of
think
life
this has been
because it's
really
dedicated to being average.
thank you. This has been really great for me too, Gary, to acknowledge again, and I do get we need to acknowledge again and again and again just how different
Forever.
we are. Because if I'm
Yeah.
trying to find the vision of what other people have decided is true, but is not true, like, yeah, thank you. This is brilliant. Thank you so
You
much.
gotta have that place where you can see, well, this is not true for me.
Yeah, yeah.
And I
Okay.
know it's not true for me. But other
Mm,
people have tried to make things true for me that are not. They used to
right.
say to me, you can't do it that way. I go,
Yes, I
okay.
can.
And then I do it
Yeah,
that way.
yeah. And see, then there's something like Elugar,
Yeah.
every 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 molecule in my body and everything knows that that place is something that is so friggin' different and so off the
Yeah.
charts, and that place, I say will be completed in the lightest way because it will be completed as per the specs, and we'll always
Yeah.
be adding something different and more, so I get that, it's
Yeah.
never actually really
Yeah.
completed, but I know
Well,
that that place is working. It works. It
yeah.
already works. It's
It
like there's not
already works, except people are trying not to work as hard. What? Why wouldn't you increase the amount of work you're doing to create more possibility instead of trying to decrease the amount of work you're doing so that you don't get tired?
and there's another gold. There's another piece of gold there. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, increase. Yeah, yeah, increase the possibilities, but also
Increase the
include.
possibilities, increase the revenue streams. I mean, the thing about El Lugar, we've had more people who've said, this is the best place I've ever been,
Mhm.
period.
Yeah.
This is the best place I've ever been than any other, hotel I've ever been to.
Oh, I'm a well, actually, I was gonna say I'm a different person, I'm not. I'm more of me. Like, I've never
Yeah.
been somewhere before that I was also there for the first time. I think you were there for about the same amount of times, like 39,
Yeah.
40 nights. I had this, like, plan B in my head that if I got over being in one place for that long, I can't even be in my own hometown for that long, that I would go to San Jose just as a break. I did not need to leave Algarve at all. In fact, when I did leave after, 39 nights, I was a bit few tears in my eyes, being a girl, just going, "Oh no, the gates are opening and here I am driving out," and knowing that I was going other places in the world to create more and greater as well. And yet there's that place is absolutely magical to the point I'm actually going there for Christmas so I can wake up and spend Christmas Day with my horse, Pluma.
Cool. Yes,
See what
your
you
real
created?
family. Your real
Yeah.
family.
Yeah, yeah, I did. I looked at it like a few months ago and I went, "Who do I want to spend Christmas with?" And I went, "Oh, my horse." there's people
Yeah,
around. I'll have a cocktail with you in the afternoon or something, but my horse.
yeah, yeah.
So yeah, yeah. So Gary, what do you see as a possibility for the future of business around the world?
Well, it's like we're going to go through some hard times, okay? Trump is doing everything he can to destroy small businesses, okay? And it's like, and COVID was to destroy small businesses.
Mm,
Why? Because they want super companies to run everything. Because if the big companies have control of everything, they can make all the money and they can control the money. And they want to do that. And they're going to try and put us onto cryptocurrency so that we have no choice and we can be taxed directly from our bank accounts.
mm,
They'll put that in after they get us onto cryptocurrency because they want to have control over the money that comes in to run the governments.
mm,
So they want to have access to your financial data so that they can tax you. And they will do that. Now, it's interesting because so many places are now beginning to fight against that. And they're saying we only take cash and we only do cash and we do cash
yes.
and we do cash. And it's like I knew that this would become a fight in the future. And it will be because there
Mm,
are too many countries that function on cash and have to
yeah.
because there's so many poor people.
Yep.
But they're trying to look at the median class people because the median class people could do cryptocurrency and be perfectly happy.
Mm,
And they would also get their taxes paid, which would make it easier. Well, it's not really easier. It's like if you are creative with money, you can create lots of different things and you can do unique and fabulous things. Use your money to ways that work for you. You know,
I love
I
that.
just went over this morning to our house next door and I talked to the gardener about planting some new plants. I want
Mm,
the place to be lush and beautiful. Everybody goes, why? It looks fine. No, it doesn't. It's not lush and beautiful. What do you mean? I said, places that are well cared for are lush and beautiful. Now let's make it lush and beautiful.
oh, I totally. But even the way you talk about that, Gary, I can perceive what that creates as a future, not
Mm-hmm.
just for you guys having that house, but for anyone who drives by or goes there, and how that ripples out there into the whole entire world. It's like we
Exactly.
more of that beauty in the world is what
Yes.
I'm
More
asking for.
more beauty in the world, and the world
Yeah.
deserves the beauty.
Mhm.
That's the reason it deserves you, the
Aw,
beauty.
Gary, thank you.
You're welcome.
I'm so grateful for you. So
I
grateful.
am grateful. Thank you.
So, is there anything else you want to say to people on this podcast?
Just be practical about your business. Don't
Mhm.
be practical and pragmatic, not wishful.
Okay, I love that.
Yeah. There was a poem that says, if wishes were horses, beggars would ride. If daisies were watches, I'd wear one by my side. Different reality. And you've
Yeah,
got to see that reality of if wishes were horses, then you would beggars would always ride, but
yeah.
they're not. So what's really true? What's the practical thing here?
So, this podcast is called Choice, Change, and Action as well. Gary, is there anything either personally for you or around the world that you would like to see change? And if so, what action would
I'd like
you?
to see more consciousness on the planet. It's like I just read an article this morning about some Israeli people who were at a Jewish museum in New York City. And
Yep.
some guy came in and yelled, free Palestine, and shot these two people who were
Oh,
about to get engaged. Nice looking
wow.
Jewish couple that were just about to get engaged. They were going there to have their, to pop the question, quote unquote,
Yeah,
and they both got killed. It's like, why do people do that? What makes that right?
yeah,
I
yeah.
don't see, it's like, I don't see why that's a necessity. And I would like to see that necessity cease. Greater
Me too.
possibility, greater reality. Please.
Yeah. Yes, and all of life comes to me with ease, joy, and glory. The mantra
Yes.
of access consciousness. Use it. Another
10
question
times
I've
in the
been,
morning, 10 times in the evening. It'll change your life.
or do OCD like me, and you just say it over and over again, anyway.
Yeah.
So, but thank you for you bringing back the mantra as well. It's not that you brought it back; it was always there, but there was something about you having that demand in your world that has
Yeah.
rippled out to so many of us. And I've been
Sure.
using it for everything and noticing this instantaneous change. So it's
Yes.
pretty
It's
cool.
very cool.
And I do have a podcast coming out after this one that I did an interview with Terry Hope, and she talks about doing some scientific research with what occurs with a being, the body and the being too, when actually using the mantra. So that's pretty cool coming out too. So look forward to that. So Gary Douglas, thank you so much for being here
Pleasure,
today.
dear one.
Actually, on your birthday. So thank
I
you.
know. You're not supposed to tell that.
69. You're 69 today.
Nah, I'm 83. It's fine.
But I like the way you said to me that your 83 is good. That's good. It's
I
gonna be a
like
great year.
83. I don't know why I like 83,
Right.
but I like being 83, which is
Isn't it,
weird as
but isn't that funny though? There are some ages that you turn and you just get this, it's almost like this nurturing in your body, like this
it's like
breath. Yeah.
it
Yeah.
puts a smile on your face.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. Yeah.
69
Cool.
put a smile on my face, but that was a different reason. But we
That's
won't
not the
talk
age.
about that, because that's not something we're supposed to talk about. So we will have it.
That's another podcast. So
Yes, that's a
yeah.
different podcast.
Yes. All
All
right.
right.
So again, thank you so much for being here.
Thank
And
you.
thanks everyone for listening. And thank you for being here too. And I'll see you next time. Bye.
Thank you. Bye.